Hi. Good evening, everyone. How are you? I'm going to turn down my music here. I'm a little late tonight. I thought I'd do something a little different. I planned on doing it earlier, but here we are. I'm going to share this with Anti-Maskers Canada and do that right now so we can get some more people on board here. Here we are. And we'll get that shared to the group. Come on, baby. Is this the new internet? I swear it's bad. In any case, how are you tonight? Hi, Kim. How you doing? It has been a crazy week for me, and I haven't done a video since, I guess, Sunday. So much going on out there. Of course, the Edmonton kerfluffle occupied a lot of my time because, well, people walk right into this over and over and over again. The clown show, I call it, where all of a sudden our concerns about everything that is happening in our world is buried because of bad behavior, because of allowing affiliations with unsavory entities, and basically screwing us and our concerns and literally burying them. It is absolutely frustrating. I dealt with it here in Saskatchewan. I had to not have anything to do with the freedom movement here, and that went back to September. And I pulled my group, No Masks Saskatchewan. I pulled it, archived it, with 5,000 members in December 12th. The reason I archived it is because I saw the freight train, like the angry Albertan saw the freight train coming to bury our concerns. And so he stepped back in Edmonton, and that's what I did when I archived my group. I had to do it. There was no choice, because to stand with them was to literally destroy any bit of credibility I had ever built. It happened time and time again. And, one time, okay, yeah, that's a mistake. 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, no. And how I described it to the angry Albertan was that the UN is coming for you, and the World Health Organization is coming for you. Because, see, that's who's in control, and this is what people are not understanding. I have been hammering this for over a year, since January 30th, 2020, when the World Health Organization literally took over the management of this global crisis. The chain of command works like this. Tedros, World Health Organization, funded by, Bill Gates and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for the most part. China is a big influencer in the United Nations and with the World Health Organization. So the chain of command goes Tedros, TAM, and then each public health officer. All of this show that you're watching every day, the movie I'm calling it, is nothing but a distraction. Because again, TAM is running the show, and so are all these public health officers across our country. This was the beginning of global governance, January 30th, 2020. The states of emergency were enacted, and then, of course, we've been locked down ever since. Again, until we get the chains of command straight here, we're not understanding the seriousness and significance of all of it. I know it's confusing, but the whole idea is to keep you confused and keep people believing that there's a partisan deal going on here, and there is not. This is Agenda 2030, and I'm calling it the freight train of Agenda 2030. It truly, truly is. It's a freight train, and it's coming for all of us. So, again, the clown shows and the, again, unsavory affiliations do not reflect the masses and our concerns. Because, see, I know that the masses are deeply concerned. But what's happening is for them to align with the known entities, that the freedom movement goes on and on about, oh, they're pigeonholing us. Look, they didn't need me to be a racist to call me a racist. So if I hung out with racists, then that makes me one, right? Again, when you hand a known racist the microphone after the keynote in Regina and then go, oh, whoops, no, stop it. This is the UN and the World Health Organization, and this is a communist totalitarian invasion of our country. They don't play nice. They work under the wire. They fissure any support. Anyone who's credible, like the angry Albertan, that man is authentic. They're coming for him. He can't be bought. He can't be diverted. He controlled that protest right from the beginning because he knew what was coming. He did everything right. And he did right by the concerns of Albertans when he pulled from that protest. Absolutely. Because, see, that's a true leader. Not the ones pandering like little pussies they are. See, that's why all these politicians are so disingenuous and afraid to take a stand. Because sometimes tough decisions have to be made. And I respect people who will stand by their moral convictions and, again, ensure the integrity of what he's building, because that's super important. And again, you've got David and Karen Dixon there. We've got Anthony there. These people have been there from the beginning and, again, reflect the intelligence of many of us. They truly do. They vet their speakers. They make sure nobody can intercept to discredit. And again, all my respect. Of course, I took an absolute beating for it, but of course, then all the bad actors emerged for me to block because they, again, are not helpful to our cause. They got to go. And every time I come out and do the unpopular, I get a lot of criticism. I'm not here to make friends, guys. I'm here to deliver you the truth, because I was doing that way before any of this came down. My mission was Agenda 2030. And it being the greatest threat to our freedom. I thought I had 5 years to teach you all about it. But, I didn't count on the virus, interception, the disruption, to the Great Reset. They needed the disruption, okay? So again, I've been talking about this since way March, and again, January 30th, 2020, I did the video, The World Changed Today, and no one batted an eye. Not many people batted an eye. Because again, I know this is out of our scope here, but we have to stop believing that our country is intact, because it is not. What I'm watching is a government now that is actually answering to a central authority outside our country. Again, to the World Health Organization. It's all a show, guys. And again, we have tactics of China, of a CCP communist government playing out in our country. They weren't masking your kids before or making you wear a mask. They weren't circumventing your freedoms and rights. Canada doesn't do that. This is why I'm saying it's not Canada changing. It's the fact that another power has imposed itself, and it is a global power. This is the beginning of global governance. And this is the new playing field. Again, it's not going away. The intro to all of that, of course, at notamask.ca, because not a mask, what happened to my little face covering? So I had a bunch here. Oh, there they are. But here you go, the face covering that has some humanity to it. In any case, the platform is the platform for our concerns, because in compliance, some people have to. That's just the way it is. And I didn't believe they should have to choke in a muzzle, because that's what it does to me. That's what it does to a lot of people. I'm currently dealing with a mom that her daughter's got this condition on her skin, and it did start before the mask, but the mask has absolutely exacerbated it. She's 8 years old, and it's a nightmare. So she comes to get a not a mask, and the school wants to deny it. And again, we're working through this, so bear with me, because usually when we push again, we're in the door. So the bottom line is that these schools will, if they allow a condition to be exacerbated because of mask use, then that puts them in a liable position, right? And this is what I am getting to right now. Action that we can take in order to see change. Can you imagine starting a business and hoping that it will die? That's not a mask. I hope that this all goes away, but I know it's not going anywhere. And we need to create momentum here, and that is in marketing, because again, all of these platforms are dissipating. And again, we can't be as frank as we want to here. We can't share the vaccine reactions. We can to a point, but there is a very fine line right now. And as this ramps up, it's going to be tapped out. I'm focusing on keeping the platform over here. I am. And I really love to see you over on Telegram, because again, I am much more liberal over there. And getting a crowd, again, a lot of my participants are the serious actors. And that's what I like. We got to stop pissing around, guys, because we don't have time for this. Do we have a way out of this? Well, as far as I'm concerned, we have to leave the UN. That's the only way out. Is that going to happen? And who is actually behind it all? And for at the beginning of it, again, when we have China policies coming into our country, the threat of a vaccine, the level of propaganda we are seeing here in Canada and the United States. Guys, we're in China. This is their tactics. Their tactics were the protests last weekend. Infiltrating, putting elements in the imagery. Again, this is the literal fight of our lives here, because again, our politicians are all complicit. This is under the guise of Agenda 2030, and Harper signed us onto that agreement. The Conservatives are playing the role, and they're running the flank, and that's just the way it is. And again, until we recognize the structure of how things are working here and stop believing our government is intact when it's not business as usual and hasn't been for just about a year, guys, it's right before your very eyes. It's here. Watch a question-answer thing with a little exchange with Michelle Rempel and the government. That's just a joke. Honestly, you'll see quite clearly there that there is nothing happening. It's just a stonewalling. And again, the Liberals answering to a centralized power. Not Canada power, World Health Organization power, Bill Gates power, because he funds or is a great part of the funding. Anyway, there's your little political lesson for tonight. No political leader will define when the state of emergency will end. Of course they won't. No. Now, see, I believe the state of emergency ends with global governance. That's what we're being locked down for. And the way that they're infiltrating these protests, okay, again, they send in elements to start discrediting. And it happened to me. It happened to the angry Albertan. The Q element, that I believe 100% China, because it's the same energy as BLM, the same tactics, guys. I've been on the hate end of all of them. So, when they're coming at you, you get to figure out who's who. And again, the energy of it. All feeding us into the UN chute and of no return. Because again, this is, again, I shared something last night and I said that, there was us generation Xers, and then the Ys, and then now it's the Zs. And again, that's the end of the alphabet. And is this the end of humanity? It's not sunshine and roses. And how do you like global governance so far, right? It's, again, we've been under it for a year. And all of these nonsensical rules, like having these groups, I'm learning that, again, a lot of nonsensical rules. It's continual that we don't understand the mentality of what's going on, again, because it's not from our country. It reminds me of Latin America, the frustrations that we would go through being expats there. Mexico, again, other cultures. Again, not our landscape. But they're literally twisting the screws on our landscape to fit the China model. Now, interestingly enough, I thought that I would, you see, Dubai and the Emirates, they're the leaders in this. They're actually, what I have deducted, kicking off most initiatives right now with 100% compliance, right? Because you don't mess around in the UAE. In any case, this was interesting because the UAE news, Dubai Airport rolls out smart travel system. Your face is your passport. There is no need to use your identification papers, such as passport for immigration, as the Dubai International Airport has officially rolled out the smart travel system after a successful completion of the trial phase. The newly introduced integrated biometric contactless pathway at the Dubai International Airport was formally unveiled by top authorities at the General Directorate of Residency and Foreign Affairs on February 22nd. The latest biometric technology, which is a mix of facial and iris recognition, allows passengers to check in for their flight, complete immigration formalities, enter the lounge facilities, and board their flights by simply strolling through the airport. Speaking to the media on the sidelines of the media unveiling, Major General Mohammed Ahmed Al-Mary, Director General of the GDRFA Dubai, said in the future, we expect immigration terminals will not exist. People will be able to stroll through the airport to complete all formalities. The time taken to complete immigration formalities will be solely dependent on how fast an individual is able to walk. See, they're the leaders. They're rolling it all out. Again, no travel over 70. Highly discouraged, and that's visitors coming in the country or their own residents. It's over for them. And anyone who's got a chronic disease is highly discouraged from travel. And I broke that one last week. I have a contact in the Emirates that's keeping me very up to date, I have to say, before anybody. I like it. And I've got people all over the world. I've got a lady in South Africa. She's fabulous. UK, Australia. I mean, we're all over the place. So I'm getting in news. I got some news in from Ireland today. People seeing what I see. The problem is that none of this is our landscape, guys. And this is why we don't understand it. Like in Latin America, they know insurrection. Stuff like that. Where are we here? Just caught the tail end of the comment, state of emergency. Alberta state of emergency expired. 90 days past announcement there. No one's paying attention to that. There was an announcement made today of a potential credit score being recognized here in Canada by that of which a person searches on the internet. Yes, this is it. In China, it comes down to like, I mean, if you didn't visit your grandma, it's points against you. Like this, again, this is what people aren't understanding. And of course, this is all rolling out under the guise of safety, of COVID. It's, you know, when you're in the know. And again, it was really interesting to me as I announced all of this last year. And then everything coming down. And when the distancing came in, I was like, okay, here we go. This is, we're entering, this is a new culture they're injecting here. Then I found out it was a global culture. Of course, we all understood that everyone around the world is going through this. And then I found out in countries like Colombia, Peru, Panama, that they wouldn't let men and women go out the same days. They had to have odd and even days. And that was, well, in those countries, women really don't do a lot on their own. Like they do with other women, but they don't venture out alone a lot. And that was a way of breaking that. Again, that male influence. Again, cultural, basically a kick in the ass at cultures to move. For us, it was all about the common cold, containing this common cold, because really, this is what they've done. When you see 50% sales for cold medicine in 2020, yeah, well, 50% less, that's a lot. This is just not right. No, it is not. It is not. This is not our country. Again, we need to be going to these politicians and saying, whoa, 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 you know, this isn't our country. And again, I've said this before, and on October 18th of 2019, Bill Gates had his event 201. The pandemic planning preparation. And on the same day in China, they had the Wuhan military games opening ceremony. And it's on YouTube. Go check it out. Wuhan military games opening ceremonies. It's 2 hours. There's a couple videos there for over 2 hours. Go to 1 hour 14, I believe. 12, 14. And watch their, basically the entire opening ceremonies is China through history. And China taking us to the future is at that mark. And it has the UN and soldiers basically pushing their way into the world. It's a little bit eerie, truly. The date was eerie to me because, again, there were also stories later on, like just months ago, about the military games in Wuhan, and there was speculation that Americans had planted the virus. This is what was going on. They're all in it together, guys. The China model is coming here. Unless somebody stands up, we're trying. But again, the UN and the World Health Organization, okay, what they do is they throw those elements. The media in Edmonton was all set up for the racist narrative. The groups they set the table. And to me, it was a complete coordination between media. Again, I've seen it here. So over and over again. And I mean, honestly, with me, it got to the point where I would have had more progress if I went to the wall and just beat my head. People working directly, claiming to be on your side and working against you. And again, this is much more diabolical than people understand, because it's not our landscape. Our own CMHO here is being led by an infiltrate from Wuhan who was hired in January, directly sent from China. Where are you, Tiffany? Where are you? The UN, the WHO, WEF, all in this together. In Build Back Better. Well, I'll tell you, our Build Together, Now it's a national campaign. Guess who started the racist narrative about me? It's called Build Together, Trudeau's program, and it was 3 of his board members that came after me here in Regina. That's who tried to start that nonsense. So yeah, it's pretty diabolical. Unions are stakeholders in Agenda 2030, and of course the WEF. I call on their website, everyone needs to go check out the COVID Action Platform, and it literally looks like a virus. Click into the widget. I keep saying it, guys. You need to discover this, because when you see, it's literally a roadmap of what is happening right now. I call it the business plan to the new order. You're in Alberta. Okay, well, right on, Tiffany. Like, you get it. See? It's so hard. Again, I have these visions of me being 80 going, but it was Agenda 2030. Because, again, people aren't understanding the chain of command here. This is what we need to hammer. We need to hashtag Agenda 2030. That has to be on everyone's lips. And again, I've been trying for a year. But what's happened, even in the controlled opposition, again, they never mention Agenda 2030. I'm sorry, you cannot mention the Great Reset without mentioning Agenda 2030, because the Great Reset is to the goals of Agenda 2030. The vaccination freight train that's coming our way right now that isn't a vaccination, it's a gene therapy. Again, how could you trust people that would lie to you about the nature of their product and not fully inform you as to the science of it? Again, posing as a vaccine is just scary, scary stuff. In any case, I'm glad to see people are understanding this, because, Tiffany, we need this bad. All of this noise every day. When I had No Mask Sask, I learned a lot doing that group. Now, I'd never done a Facebook group before, but I knew already, because I was watching groups that were that were government run around me, posing to be from citizens that weren't. They were union, government, and NDP, which is our opposition here. It was cooperations with them. Again, so through that journey, I learned how literally the controlled opposition, their news cycles, I watched it because I approved every post. So I could see the sequences. I could see the people who are actually working every day to do this, because there's not lots of people like me that do this for free all day. Truly. A lot of people don't. So again, the subterfuge, crazy. If we make it to 80, this entire thing resolved to Agenda 2021-30. Our own PM spoke about it. COVID has allowed the Great Reset to evolve. And again, Tiffany, I like the way you pointed out that 2021, because see, originally it was Agenda 21. And this is, again, all these agendas is what made it conspiratorial or sound that way. And that's why a lot of people never paid attention, because they made it a subject that only tinfoil hat people were into, when in fact it's a United Nations initiative. But Agenda 21 we thought was the agenda for the 21st century, but no, it was Agenda 2021. And again, this was all part of the show. There was no announcement. It was a disruption. But it all started in ocean cargo, January 1st, 2020. And most people don't understand that. It was already underway before the virus started taking hold, for sure. Name the group so we know what to look for. I have on my Telegram. I can do that privately. I will. But the fact is, Okay, Facebook groups generally aren't real activist groups. They're not. They're there to contain your opinion. Now, I'm doing something a little different on anti-maskers. I am taking the crowd. And now, I don't know if you saw, but I'm going to talk about it here shortly. I'm starting a campaign of people, and primarily women, how they feel wearing the mask. Because for me, it was absolutely demeaning to put on a muzzle. I can't do it. And I described that experience to Global, my favorite reporter, the cutthroat, Colin. In any case, he took that one line out of 10 minutes of footage, and I got demonized for it in social media. The idea was to make me look selfish. And it's funny because I stopped saying that it made me feel that way because I got so demonized for it. I had a film by the union leader, Darlene. Her daughter made films of me with devil ears and clown heads and humiliated me for that statement. These are women, union women. Yeah, pretty nice, huh? In any case, I stopped saying it. And doing not a mask, of course, there's people messaging me through that. And I get a personal relationship with these women, and it's been mostly women. And it started the other night when I got this quote that, again, I'll read it to you, that I just, again, the entire reason I started this journey. Where are we here? Because it honestly brought tears to my eyes. I have a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I'm expecting my 3rd in September. I feel shame when they see me in a mask. At least this will help. And not a mask customer. So what I started the other night, well, it's getting some legs. I did one last night again. So what I'm doing is getting people to submit, and even when they write, I'll take the quote out. And again, with your permission, you could send me a photo with you in a mask, but a lot of people don't want the exposure, so I'll do it with the not a mask. And it is, again, a way to get them to the website to see, again, what we're talking about when it comes to Agenda 2030, because notamask.ca is a complete exposure of what is happening right now in a creative and a brand identity. That's what we're doing. So this one was today, or last night, I think, from another woman. I feel like I'm being made to feel submissive to some power that I have no control over. I feel that someone somewhere is slowly trying to murder me, as the mask is so unhealthy. I feel defeated and suffer a lack of motivation. I feel alienated from society, as if it was a total barrier. I feel anger at myself for wearing it, and anger at whomever is promoting the wearing of it. I am terrified that that it has gone this far, and that all that it symbolizes. In any case, it is quotes from women that oppose wearing the mask, articulating how it makes them feel because no one ever asked. This is our platform, and women and men. This is how we get our voices heard, because these feelings get lost in these comments, and I see them there. But a lot of times they come in, the frustration and anger comes in. These are down, absolutely authentic. And that's what we need, because truly this is demeaning. And we have been shamed into silence, and it's wrong. And we're going to make sure we expose it. We are. I got a very nice, where was it? Right here. It was a wonderful comment from a guy I really respect in Alberta, from Rob in the Page family. You should follow him. He's very good. We are dealing with a lot of trauma as a result of the abuse and violence that manifested from these events. It is not as simple as stop wearing masks, because there are still abusers out there that are active in using shame, guilt, violence, intimidation, coercion, and other manipulators to force compliance. This causes various levels of trauma and potentially PTSD. To tell people to stop wearing them, in my view, to tell people to just stop wearing them, in my view, insensitive and not very empathetic to the trauma, stress, anxiety, and feelings that people are going through. We need profound healing circles to help people heal from this trauma so we can come to terms with what has happened. I think the sharing that Martine is encouraging is profound, very much needed and beautiful. By giving people a voice to share their feelings, fears, and struggles, we start the healing journey. As I know there are many others out there feeling the same way, only afraid because the abusers out there are working so hard to silence us all. I encourage this work 100% and pray this wave of healing, courage, and sharing continues. Bravo, Martine, and all of those who are finding their courage to share like this. Bravo. Thank you, because this has been a difficult journey for me. I felt like a traitor when I first started looking for an alternative, but I saw the freight train. And because of my knowledge of what was coming, being Agenda 2030, I made the decision to rest on the side of humanity. We need people breathing. All day long, we were talking about the fact that the mask was detrimental to our health. I knew it wasn't going away, and again, it was getting dug into corporate policy from here to Borneo. There was a reality, so that's why I started it. In order that people who can't wear a mask can breathe, and we truly need to heal. It came a point, again, when the stories were coming in from women being attacked, shamed, humiliated, abused, and it's usually women, right? Because, you know, they're easy pickings to abusers, or they see them that way. It came to a point where it became irresponsible of me to push people to not comply. It really, truly did. And it became bad advice. It did. I needed to ensure that women understood what going with the mask could potentially invite. And again, it wouldn't have been fair to me to keep on like that. It wasn't. I can tell you that when I came out with it, they were all anti-maskers coming my way, and they were all going, I feel like a failure. I feel like I'm letting you down, Martine, or I'm letting the group down. I'm letting my family down by caving. But it came to a point where they were fearful, and there was reason to be. I saw the mob mentality. It wasn't just the creation of a mob mentality. It was a mob mentality in play. And again, I've been through this journey. We have to remember humanity here, okay? That's got to be our number one concern. And speaking about humanity, I've got one more little story to bring your way here. A guy on the anti-maskers group messaged me this afternoon. Interesting guy. He has worked with autistic. And I'm going to take you through what he said to me and just a little bit of it. Okay. At the moment, doing my last few shifts in the healthcare system here, taking care of a couple of autistic friends, management started asking people to double mask up, and so much nonsense. Meanwhile, my pals, the residents, and I all tested positive back in December with sniffles, but they got the COVID test positive. But I'm still supposed to act like they're nuclear waste instead of people with autism. So he is actually caring for autistic people. What nearly killed one of them was the sudden isolation. What saved him, in my opinion, is when I insisted that his family called him on webcam every day. Poor old dude had no idea why everyone but me left him. And the strangers in hazmat suits were coming in to molest his nose. Insanity, not health. I get it. Have seen through the lies since March. He's got more. That's pretty interesting. Scary times, guys. Crimes against humanity. People with conditions such as autism in homes being treated like they are diseased. People institutionalized. That psychological trauma is absolutely wrong. Yet they don't listen. We have to make them listen. And the first thing is, don't hang out with the clown show. And now that we've removed ourselves from that, then, now we can get serious, right? Hello. I have visions of me telling people I told you so. And you thought I was crazy. How do you like me now? It's true. I have a lot of people who have not believed what I have to say. And again, you know what? I've learned, and because I have a career in natural health as well, I've done a lot of things. It's just like your health. Somebody could have 5 heart attacks and just won't do anything. Again, complacency. It is everyone's own journey, and again, their lifetime. I'm a lifetime person. I believe we come back to deal with karmas, and again, being awake is a blessing and a curse, right? For me, I see it as a blessing. Because again, I like truth. I want to know what's going on. I don't like secrets. I don't deal with that kind of stuff. So this is difficult, and why I scream from the rooftops and do this all day, every day, and have since January last year. I'm rather obsessed. I truly am. Because I see the significance of all of it. And you see, when you start doing all of this, you think that if you start telling everybody what's happening and you get out there publicly and all of that, that people will start to listen. But what I learned in my journey was, again, the sheer amount of noise created. Our free speech is literally being turned against us. And again, it's because I've watched a lot of how China creates its propaganda towards the West that I understand that, because, and I see the Chinese CCP communist element, because again, they ridicule our free speech. And it is that energy that is actually being turned against it here. And doing the groups, I saw it like right in front of my face every day, the sheer amount. And I would eliminate 25, 30, 35%, sometimes 50. Now I'm eliminating a whole lot more because I want to keep people's eye on the ball. Again, not convoluted in stupidity. I want to see engagement. And of course now with the group, so much is banned that, again, I have to be very careful what goes up there. And the stuff that can't, again, Telegram at Unmask the Fear. We have to if we want this information, we are having to move and groove. That's just the way it is, guys. Again, if you want to be ahead of the curveball, you have to be able to move along. You see, Facebook and all of these platforms, they, of course, the New Order understood. Nobody likes to change. They don't want to move along. They are creatures of habit, and we are. So what happens on Facebook is they keep twisting the screws until everything's filtered out. See, I'm interested in 5G and what's going on. And when they dropped 5G out of Facebook, I mean, really, there was a bit of blah, blah for a couple of days, and then nothing. What these platforms prove is that you can disappear people just like that. Groups. Boom, done. They can pull the plug. I watched a 60 Minutes Australia one today with this Chinese spy, and I'm not sure that he was all that legit, but in any case, I'll do more research. In any case, he was talking about how they can pull a Facebook group just like that. So, and his job was being in Australia. It's been happening here for a long time. And again, all the hardwiring is in. All of the measures are now in place, the social distancing, the masking, and basically the loss of liability for these corporations. Because with the mask, there's not a possible way that humanity or human behavior or your reactions or the way you look at somebody can lead to the corporation being sued. And they were spending a lot of resources on that. They were spending a lot of resources on the common cold and its spin-off within the corporations. The worst part is that, and what people aren't getting, and especially the supporters with the unions, I think it's quite hilarious. And they have supported their unions like in spades. But what they don't get is that a lot of this is shoving them out. Like their jobs are going to dry up. Like again, in the airport, when Dubai's rolling that out, as they roll that sort of thing out in Canada, all those airport jobs are gone. Safeway, their employees won't be there. You'll just walk in and walk out. They won't require humans except to be away from the people. Again, human interaction is the problem, right? It is. It was the opportunity. See, what we need to start thinking like is when there's a problem, it's an opportunity. For me, last weekend's kerfluffle in Edmonton, that was an absolute opportunity to ditch them for the last time. Shut that door tight and move off. This is the mentality behind the New World Order. They're literally taking advantage of the negativity and spinning a positive for them. Not for us, for them. We have to learn how to do that, is what we need to do, truly. Let's see here. Did I miss some? Remember that leaked email from a little insider last October and the quarantine camps that said there would be coming in Q1 right on schedule, along with universal basic income. Yeah. I wasn't sure about that one. I wasn't. But it is looking that way, isn't it? They're pushing it. It's, again, CBC is literally, and global, they're all working together. But CBC is the first front line, truly, to every new initiative that the communist state is imposing. Because again, it's state media. Oh, it's just horrible. But universal income, that's all they're talking about. And of course, I'm getting international media too. I'm really encouraging that in the group because we've got a lot of people from all over the place in Anti-Maskers Canada. So it's the same program, my friends. Globally, again, a global centralized authority, and these initiatives rolled out. I asked another question last night on the group about BLM, and wondering in the United States if it was actually being taught in school. And from what I can tell so far, no. But they're teaching it all in Canada right now. Again, that was the mask, right? BLM was the launch of the mask. And it's part of the egalitarian agenda. Everyone, all one. Just tragic. What they're doing to the kids. I just want to make sure I got everybody here. Yeah, guys, it's scary times here, truly. I don't know what to say except for, again, we need to avoid any affiliations that can bring us backwards, and truly establish some formal groups beyond these Facebook groups. Again, what I'm trying to do with anti-maskers is extract marketing in your opinions and your voices, because that's helping me prepare, because I'm listening to you and your concerns. I read those comments, and again, these stories about how the mask makes you feel it's pure marketing gold, my friends. I would love it if people had their own pictures in a mask, or even in my not a mask, that's fine. It's the whole act of covering the face, how that makes you feel. This is not our culture. And again, I created a way to comply, but that's not where it ends, no. The whole idea of this brand is to end this inhumane practice. Absolutely. BLM anti-white campaign in public schools. Yeah, and here's the thing about where I live, Elizabeth. Okay, we have like it's a 1% black population. We didn't even have a BLM movement. They fabricated that. It was the unions that brought all their white employees. It was quite funny because I have footage from there. But it was 100% union involvement, and every one of those protesters was paid. Yeah, it was a show. It was despicable. Again, I don't have a problem with black people. Never have. In fact, I left my husband standing up for a black guy because that's really what happened. Here in 2008, I left this town because I took a black guy to a party and it didn't go over very well. I figured, I thought the people I was hanging out with at the time were more evolved, but they weren't. And it was really bad experience. I was horrified, embarrassed, and I swore I would never go through that again. I do not like that. And again, when I was taking the lead and had people coming at me, calling me that, with no rhyme, reason, nor basis, it was highly disconcerting to me. Particularly, I had the 12-year-old daughter of a friend who I thought was a friend. You should have heard her going on an Instagram on me as a racist. This little girl had been in my home, and she knows I'm not a racist. But listening to everybody around, again, a pack mentality was created. And that's how Q operates too. Q does the job under the wire, and that's happening in Alberta, where what they do is they start injecting questions and wanting to inject every other issue under the sun in order to distract a clear direction. And right now, our clear direction anywhere in the world is getting out of this lockdown. The only way to do that, guys, is out of the UN. It's the only way. Now, even Trump, when he ended the relationship with the World Health Organization, he didn't end the relationship. It's 2 years. That's how long it takes. So what he did has no legs. And of course, Biden will reverse that immediately. Now they have him rolling right over. Talking about universal basic income. I mean, in the United States of America, come on. The land of the free. I remember when I lived in Massachusetts for a while. I was researching hemp fiber, and I thought I might even live there. Live free or die. We would go to New Hampshire all the time. Shocking. Although what's interesting to me about the United States is the fact that the Republican strongholds being South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana. Now, Montana in the city of Missoula, that's Democrat, especially the university, right? But the rest of it, that's pretty Republican. And Florida, where they are literally partying on the beach. I want to go. People are coming from all over the states going on the beach where life is normal, like it always was. Pretty scary. Enter communism, conquered and divided, for sure. The mask is part of a satanic ritual. It's despicable that they're doing it to us, and the fact that they're normalizing this behavior, it's, again, you gotta know it takes 3 months to build a habit. Those masks are going nowhere in schools. They're going nowhere. BLM is paid by the corporation. BLM has the energy of China. It operates like Q. I dealt with them. Yeah, like truthers don't send death threats, but Q people do. And so do BLM people. A lot of terror tactics. Again, same energy. Now, again, when you learn about propaganda in China and you also learn how the government operates, like if you say, okay, like I'd be dead in China, just straight up. They would never tolerate what I'm saying. And honestly, I am talking a lot about China. And if they're taking over, I'm pretty fucked. Again, they don't tolerate this. It's off the table. Racism in any form is stupid, but just like how we can't get rid of order following sheep, stupid is going to stay stupid until they get to the slaughterhouse, and then they are going to be shot in the head. Well, let's hope they don't get shot in the head, but at the end of the day, I do believe the gene therapy is a mechanism to push life forth, move it along. I do not trust it. I cannot believe, again, with all common sense off the table, and the fact that the government is pushing us into a gene therapy, allowing it to be masquerade as a vaccine. They're allowing for this. Again, it's not our government. It's not our country. This is not how we operate here. But even the conservatives are pushing it because, of course, they're the ones who put us in this agreement to start. They like it. They're disgusting. Every one of them. I congratulate Michelle Rempel and Rachel Harder on their Academy Award performances just about every day. Because, truly, just a script. Here's the script for today. This is what you do. And you know, the conservatives, I mean, it's that scummy, because what you see is the liberals and the conservatives have pushed the women to the front to smooth out the message. It's all marketing, guys, straight up. I know I want to move to Florida too, like seriously. But again, Republican strongholds, right? They've been sensible. South Dakota, the governor, she's amazing. I love that woman. She's gorgeous, together and articulate. And I mean, she's like the whole package. If I liked women, she'd be it, I swear. I don't, though. The UN is comprised of countries that are part of the same corporation. Yeah, I don't know that far. I don't. I just know the organization, and I understand and see what's been going on in the UN for years, down to the Uyghur Muslims. Okay? The organization that has all these sustainable goals and all of this, honestly, noble utopian goals based in synthetic everything. The entire world to be a disinfected, synthetic environment where we are being shamed for our humanity and even our faces. It's disgusting. It's abuse is what it is. It truly is abuse. It's abuse of humanity. They should all be called on crimes of humanity. They truly should. Will it happen? Well, I don't see justice in sight. I don't see anyone saving us. And again, it's all of this noise. People out there protesting. But, funny enough, in these groups, what you get are old protests. They start to filter around. So again, it looks like there's so much more going on than there is. It makes, in the groups, the material that was coming in made the freedom movement look a lot larger than it was. It did. And again, that is the hope factor they want you to buy into, right? Again, all of these platforms are controlled. They are. And anytime, pull the plug. Illinois is pretty tolerant. Only use masks in stores. That's cool. That's great. I have a lady, she has to take her son to Minneapolis for gene therapy. And, well, the plane was just a nightmare. And she has to go 4 times a year. So she's driving all the way from Saskatchewan. That's a long way. A couple days, but she's happy because in North Dakota, they don't wear a mask. She doesn't have to be served by someone wearing a mask. And to me, that was heartbreaking at the beginning. Honestly, I can't even look at them under the mask. I feel it hurts my heart. It hurts my heart because it is not natural and it is hurting their health, and I know it. It makes me not want to patronize them, but then you're in that catch-22 where, like, I shop with a lot of small business, so I want to support them. Again, one of my small businesses close to here, I'm not going to say which one, but yeah, all the boys, every time you walk in, they've got it down under their nose. They pull it up. I mean, they're doing it to look good, but this is it. This is what's happening. And what's happening, again, is this filthy thing. Just wrong. Again, we've all learned that we shouldn't be going shopping and out when we're sick. We got the program. One store owner told me the police will not enforce it. Well, what do you guys think about the guy in Canada who went through the border and just walked out with not taking a PCR test on our side? What do you guys think of that? And then just walked through with no quarantine. The thing is about that story, which I was a little concerned about, was number one, well, in the airport, like, was that the airport? Was that the land border? What was that? Like, we need some details. And that was a little sloppy. I'd like to see that. But if he pulled that off, all the power to him. I think more people need to do that. But again, I'd like to find out more details for sure. What I meant was that they won't wake up until it's too late. Well, this is the thing. This is the thing, Joe. This is the whole point of all of the noise and the continual clown show, is to keep people, even the woke, all invested in that drama. And it's nothing but drama. Nothing's happening. But I do believe the masses are starting to wake up. They are starting to see it. And as we get into summer, I think that's going to be helpful. But again, they've got this locked down. Again, they're making sure there's a lot of focus to make sure that these protests are injected with elements that are unsavory in order to continue discrediting them. And it's working. It truly is. It is changing, again, not changing public opinion, but it is definitely sealing the coffin on our concerns. And I'm not allowing that. Angry Albertan and his crew, they're not allowing for it. Again, we're all working too hard. And here's the other thing I wanted to mention. Have you ever seen me with my hand out? I haven't made an income in over a year, guys. Straight up. I've had a few kind donations, but that's been like basically nothing. I do this because it's from my heart. And I believe that I was called for this. I took 10 years off, and honestly, I needed that 10 years off. I did other stuff. I researched. I continued on my mission. But I still didn't know what it was yet. It was like I was waiting for it. Again, I'm not asking you for money, and that's why I started Not a Mask, in order that we can finance this fight. That's what it's all about. It's also keeping my lights on. Straight up. There's no money, great money being made here. Seriously. Again, the Angry Albertans, same deal. Not out there asking for money. Anyone that has 50 ways from Sunday to pay them before they open their mouth, again, stop. Don't do that. It's taking advantage of good people. And quite honestly, I don't want to be beholden to anyone who's paying me, because that controls me and I can't be controlled. That's why I started Not a Mask as a humane solution, but also that gave me autonomy in order that our interests not be diluted. Yeah. It's a slow brainwashing campaign. It is, but it's not even slow anymore. It's literally being hammered every day in local papers. Truly, truly. I don't have a cold. I'm just kind of emotional. If I'm not mistaken, the UN was started during the Carter years. I think it was before that, Joe. I was at UN camp in 1979. I was chosen 1 out of 12 kids in grade 6 in Canada to go to UN camp. So they were going back then, and that was all personality tests and IQ tests for the first 2 days. And the last day we got to do an exercise where we actually interacted with the other kids. It was the weirdest camp I'd ever been to. And they gave me Malta as the country to represent. I wanted the USSR, but they wouldn't. I got the smallest one. And I'm the only one who voted against them all. Never heard from them again. Quite honestly, I do believe that was all of these. Again, every person has been positioned for this very moment in history. They have. I was going through stuff last year that it was a list of all the resignations from corporations, and these were like big ones. And it was a house of cards, I'm telling you. There were a lot of switch outs for this moment in time. The whole PEI, Board of Health, the whole province, right? Prince Edward Island, they all resigned. They had been on the board forever, and they all left in one fell swoop. Those are harbingers of things to come, right? Bill Gates was on the board of Berkshire Hathaway with Warren Buffett, and he resigned from Microsoft a few years ago. So you saw all these shifts. Totally significant. Where are we here? Maybe North Dakota is the best place to be. Well, it's a little further south for me, so maybe definitely wide open territory. truly. I like North Dakota. Actually, I find it very pretty. But again, I'm from Saskatchewan, so. Oh yes, public transport has federal mask mandate. Yeah. Again, it's liability. That's why it's woven into their policy. The social distancing is a corporate thing. It's again, so no man. Okay, so think about this. How can you charge someone with sexual assault if there's distancing? You can't. The company has done everything they can to keep people apart. So therefore, there can never be in the workplace again. How can there be a situation like that? There can't be. They're not allowing human nature to take their profits out any longer. And again, that's how they control. We have to make our home our home. Well, you know, I'll tell you, I spend a lot of time at home, Elizabeth. I really do. I kind of, again, this is not how I want to interact. It's not. This whole experience has definitely isolated me because I can't just be out there like I was before. It's just the way it is. There's a lot of threats and a lot of that, and that has definitely died down for sure. Since I stopped No Mask Sask, I don't get the threats like I used to. Not at all. Yeah. In any case, guys, this has been going on for a while. I'll let you go tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And again, we have to, Agenda 2030, that needs to be we need to scream it from the rooftops. We really do. Keeping everybody's eye on the ball here. It's confusing. And again, until we get this chain of command down and understand this, is when we're going to start seeing the big picture. And I know it's emerging slowly, but every day we get more entrenched. Have a great night, guys.